Welcome to Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here coming out of the co-host.
Yeah, Inspector.
Yeah, what is up, my man?
What is happening?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I always start.
I know. That's because.
What have you been up to?
So what have I get to begin?
Yes.
Ooh.
Let's let you begin for once.
Oh my god, I feel so special. No, I'm just kidding. So I've been playing through the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC.
Okay.
Yeah,
I heard it's supposed to be like kind of the true ending for the
game,
right?
So
that you have to pay for.
Yeah, like it is. I bought the Remind Plus orchestra concert bundle. So like you get, which mind you, that was super worth it. Like you get the Remind DLC, which is $30 for an extra $10. You get the orchestra concert, which they did a tour like last year.
Yeah.
So
I went to not to the Kingdom Hearts concert, but back. This was probably like 5 or 6 years ago now. I did the one of the Zelda.
I actually went to that.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that.
Oh my god!
I don't know if I like. Don't get me wrong. I like Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if I would go to a concert for Kingdom Hearts, but I mean, I enjoyed that experience. So that's kind of a cool little addition.
No. I would love to see more like orchestra video game concerts. Like, mind you, there was an Assassin's Creed one, but they only went to like San Francisco in the US, Tokyo in Japan, one or two places in the UK. So I think it was like London.
So
and
not like a
widely
available thing.
No, like it was only a few spaces, and it was for Assassin's Creed, and I'm like, oh my god, please, but no. But anyway, I've been playing that, and Remind, you play through pretty much the final part of the game when you get to the Keyblade Graveyard, that like final piece, but you're playing it from a different perspective. You do get to play as other characters, like Riku, Kairi, Mickey. It's not just Sora now. You get to play as other characters, which is nice. But there's a good portion of the game that you're just replaying through.
So it recycles a lot of stuff.
Mind you, it's still fun. Like the part where when you get to the Keyblade Graveyard and you're blown off, and now you're in this kind of like maze, and you get to a point and you can either help Riku or help Mickey, and then you do that fight, and you're fighting against other members of the organization. That was a fun part. And you get to choose, do you want to play as Sora or Riku? And I'm just like, I'm going to choose Riku this time. But I've already done this. I've seen this before.
Okay.
There's other aspects that does change, and it does add a bit more to the story. But when it comes to the way that the game ends, you only get to kind of understand what happens to Sora at the end, but not the final secret ending. There's a final secret ending that I still don't understand it at all. And I believe
Kingdom Hearts has always had one of those kind of, especially after like 2 became like one of these labyrinthine plots where there's always all this different stuff to keep track of, and it's very it's convoluted. It kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. That series where it's super convoluted, kind of unnecessarily so.
Yeah.
Like can we just you're not making like War and Peace here. Like it's a video game. Like let's just kind of maybe make this a little bit more easy to follow.
Yeah, like there's still pieces like who Lushu is, that like I don't know what that's about. Like the ending piece is still we don't know about. And the Kingdom Hearts 3 was supposed to be, this is the end of the Xehanort saga. Like now, like they're going to do another Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever it would be. But is it going to be going a completely new direction? So I don't know. I don't know. It is fun. I'm not going to lie that it's not fun. It is fun because you're just bashing away and doing these crazy moves with magic, but you do have a lot of stuff in your arsenal. Having the Ultima weapon is great, though. I love using the Ultima weapon.
There you go. So
makes it a breeze.
So enjoying that.
Oh yeah.
I guess anything else you're playing right now, or?
I mean, I played a bit of Monster Hunter because of the new Iceborne DLC. I played a bit of that.
It's one of those games you keep coming back
to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a game I can come back to anytime because a lot of my friends have been playing it. Yeah, no, I mean, really, the Remind DLC came out, and we'll be playing that. And then, honestly, when we get into February, that's when we're going to be getting into more of our reviews for this year. We're going to be reviewing Darksiders Genesis, or at least I will be reviewing that. We'll be doing an unboxing of the Nephilim edition of that. We were going to do Iron Man VR, but that got pushed back. As we said in the last episode of Dualshock'd. I mean, games are going to start to come out, and we're going to start doing more reviews of them. So, I'm
are we reviewing any good games?
We're going to be reviewing. You're going to be reviewing Doom.
Okay,
that's
at least one. Yeah.
You are reviewing Doom. That's going to be your whole thing. So I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, in terms of just, I guess, quick catch up of where I'm at right now. Like I said I was playing Fallen Order last week. I platinumed that now. I'm done with it 100%.
Okay.
I still stand by everything I said. Very average game. I feel like I've already kind of forgotten it in a way. I mean, not a horrible game. I still recommend buying it if you can find it under $30 or so. I think anything higher than 30 is kind of like
30, 40?
30, 40 is kind of reasonable, or less than that would be great.
Of course.
So after I'm sort of in that that post game limbo now. Like, what do I play next?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So my my Monster Hunter that I fall back to is World of Warships. So I play that.
World of Warships.
World of Warships.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's a free to play game. I started playing it on PC. It's one of the few games I actually enjoy more on console in a way because it's more it's kind of more of a simplified version of it. It doesn't have all the same garbage to deal with like the PC version. The PC version obviously came first, and the console version is sort of a stripped down version of the PC version. But I kind of like that though. It's sort of like a World of Warships classic, I guess you could say, for my comparison. So that's just fun to play. I'm debating either going into and platinuming Shadow of the Colossus right now. Or maybe start going for Deus Ex and kind of finally get the platinum for Mankind Divided. I haven't done that yet, so I need to go back and do that because I have some time now. I mean, there's not really much going on my schedule until Doom comes out.
Yeah,
which we still have it's months away.
Yeah, so that's until March.
Yeah, so we got some time. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's sort of that post game limbo where I just I don't really feel like investing in something right now. Let's just kind of waste time, and then eventually I'll dive into something here.
Yeah, I get you.
We all experience that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But yeah. So yeah, should
we dive into the news?
Yes, let's begin with the news. Let's go ahead and begin with what we always begin with: news of the nation. Yay. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. The first topic that I have is that Dying Light 2 has been delayed with no new release dates, meaning it's been delayed indefinitely. This comes from IGN and also from
Please don't read the letter here.
No,
Did you already read this anyways, or?
It's probably, as you said before, like that. I won't annoy you. I just wanted to annoy you last time.
Yeah.
But from a tweet from let's see. The tweet comes from Dying Light from their own Twitter account. And it states, to our dedicated community, it is a busy year for us as we committed to working on our biggest project to date. We know you are awaiting the game eagerly. I'm sorry. We were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release of Dying Light 2, but unfortunately we need the development time to fulfill our vision. We will have more detailed share in the coming months. We will be back to you as soon as we have more information. We apologize for this unwelcome news. Our priorities to deliver an experience that lives up to our high standards, to the expectation of our fans. So it's just been, it's not coming, they were shooting for spring of 2020, and they do not say when they push it back. They're just like, we're delaying it. Yeah. That's it. No more. No, that's it. And so, yeah. Just more delays. More and more delays. I don't know.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Like I said, this was going to be... this started off as a very jam-packed, beginning of the year. I mean, we had Cyberpunk and Doom and Final Fantasy basically all on top of each other.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing 2. I mean, I know we're a PlayStation podcast, whatever. That's
but it's still big games. It's still
a big game. So, but I mean, now we slightly delayed Final Fantasy. We pushed back Cyberpunk way to the other side of the year now, to the end of the year. So I kind of like it because it gives some breathing room to actually go through and play these games.
And mind you, they also delayed Last of Us Part 2. The release date was for February, but then they pushed it back until May. So even that got delayed too.
So it's kind of the year of delays already.
Yeah,
which I mean that happens, and I'm of the philosophy that delays are okay as long as they're not delayed indefinitely and become kind of like either vaporware or sort of like a Duke Nukem Forever type of thing where it's like literally delayed generations.
Yeah, it's crazy with all of these delays where I don't mind games getting delayed because that gives you more time to make the games, and I'm always about that. But if it gets to like a development hell, that's when we have problems where it just gets delayed upon delayed over and over and over and over again. So yeah. But yeah, let's move on. Next topic. Splinter Cell's creative director returns to Ubisoft. This is coming from the VGC. The creative director of the latest two Splinter Cell games has returned to Ubisoft after leaving the company in... that might be a typo. But anyway.
What's that? What did it say?
It said 2019, but... he's come back 2020.
After leaving, yeah.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm still trying to understand the years because it's 2020.
Right,
yeah. VGC reports that Maxime Belland is one of the people who will make up Ubisoft's newly expanded and restructured editorial team that oversees the creative decisions on all of their games.
Or Maxime?
Might have been Maxime.
You have to remember they're like French.
That's true. Yeah, they're ridiculously French. So just a little bit of history on Belland is that he started as a game tester for Ubisoft back in '98. He worked there as the creative director for Rainbow Six Vegas. He was the game design director on Assassin's Creed and the creative director for Splinter Cell Conviction and Blacklist. Before he left in February of 2019 to become the creative director at Epic Games, Belland provided creative direction for Far Cry 4, Primal, and 5, which those three games are really good Far Cry games. He left Epic Games in 2019, is now reportedly rejoined Ubisoft. Whether that is going to lead in a restructuring of Splinter Cell is unknown. But there's signs Resurrection, I'm sorry. So yeah, pretty much the article goes on and on and on, but
it's strongly suggesting that there may be another Splinter Cell title in the works.
Yes, and the other thing is that Ubisoft has delayed all of their games. Like, I even think that Watch Dogs Legion has been pushed back also.
Yeah, that was delayed. Pretty dramatically.
Yep, and that's because a lot of people have been criticizing Ubisoft for pretty much making their games almost all the same, especially ever since Breakpoint, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which was just Division 2, but worse. Like, barely anything, like, broken mess, just seemed rushed out to date so that way they can get a game out and whatever. Like, it's a mess of a game. And everyone is, and even for me, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and I've been very much going like, Assassin's Creed needed that kind of reboot because Unity didn't sell well, and then Syndicates also didn't. It sold better, but not to the standards they wanted. And it's because of the hangover effect of Unity. And so they took a year off, and they did Origins, which was rad, and then Odyssey, which is a good game, just not a good Assassin's Creed game. Because the lore is weird, and that's what.
And now they're gonna throw in like Norse mythology.
Like Ubisoft is one of the leakiest video game publishers out there. But the leak is that they're gonna be doing Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, which is a Vikings game, which I'm all about that. I love Vikings, like yay! But I hope that like the story is much better and it's more concise, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I just want it to feel like an Assassin's Creed game, not just, hey, you're playing The Witcher and a bunch of other things, and hey, it's Assassin's Creed. But, you know, throw in the Animus and throw in the First Civilization and Mystic woo. Like, it doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed. Like,
no, I got you.
Remember, you know. So they delayed all their games, and now they're restructuring everything. Like they want to figure out a way how to make all their games unique, like they used to, or just unique. Period. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't really have an opinion on Ubisoft. I'm not really a fan of really anything they publish for the most part, with the exception of Splinter Cell. I enjoy Splinter Cell. I'm not as like an ultra fan of it. I'm more when it comes to stealth games. I'm more of like a Hitman type. You know, that's my game. But yeah, I mean, aside from, and I did kind of enjoy Watch Dogs, the original one, to some degree, despite all of its flaws. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean. I guess I'm punting this to you because you're more of the Assassin's Creed fan.
No,
I really wanted to be an Assassin's Creed fan. Don't get me wrong. I really did way back in 07 or whatever the first game came out.
Yeah, 09 I believe was the first one, and then 2010 or 2011 was Assassin's Creed 2.
I think it was even earlier than that. But anyways, I really wanted to enjoy those games. I thought they would be like another good entry and a good franchise in the stealth genre. Wasn't for me. Didn't live up to that expectation. But yeah, no. I mean, I hope it's everything you want it to be. I hope it's something you.
What do you think about the restructuring? Like they delayed everything. Everything has been delayed, and the reason is for the restructuring and the problems of Breakpoint.
Yeah, I mean. I don't know. I guess it's all speculation on my part.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. I don't really have much to really go on because I don't follow Ubisoft at all. I don't really care about them. I mean, Ubisoft could literally shut down tomorrow and I wouldn't care.
Wow.
I would not shed a tear for them.
Now Square Enix closed down. That also goes with like IDOS and your favorite developer that does Deus Ex. Would you be upset if that happened?
No. It's more. Yeah, of course, obviously, because it's actually something I'm connected to some degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not something that I really have a stake in. So I guess I really don't have a strong opinion one way or the other about it. For Watch Dogs Legion, though, I speculate almost like maybe they want maybe the whole concept of the game of like playing as like completely random people and stuff like that. Maybe they wanted to go back to the drawing board and develop that a little bit more. So I could understand why they would want to delay that because it's trying to do something quite different from the other games.
Yeah.
At least on paper.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be a reason for a delay. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I just it's really hard for me to talk about Ubisoft just because I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I don't hate them even. It's just it's more apathy. Like I just don't really care.
You just don't care.
Like I said, they could close.
You're like blasé.
It's like whatever. They could shutter tomorrow. Their doors. And I would not really care. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on them one way or another.
Yeah. No, I get you there. Let's move on. Guerrilla Games is looking for. Guerrilla Games is seeking staff with a multiplayer experience. So it looks like they may be bringing back Killzone. This is coming from IGN. Horizon Zero Dawn developer Guerrilla is looking for a game programmer to work on an epic open world game who would ideally have a multiplayer experience. Currently, Guerrilla has yet to announce their current project, but the open world descriptor in this new senior game programmer job listing from Games Radar points towards a potential Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. Listing also notes that the game features, quote, ranged in melee weapons, combat, and traversal mechanics, which are all characteristics applicable to Horizon Zero Dawn, or at least a game with similar traits.
Weapons, combat, and traversal.
That could literally be anything. That could be Killzone for all we know.
That could be It's literally.
It's just Horizon Zero Dawn is the most recent game to come out, and it's sold really well. This has to be the game that they're going to be going to because Killzone sold well, but not to it would kind of break even, maybe profit a little bit. But Horizon Zero Dawn sold really well. This makes the plus point of experience in multiplayer interesting, as the original Horizon Zero Dawn was a purely single-player game. While it's impossible to draw concrete conclusions from the posting, it does point to Guerrilla at least considering a multiplayer component for its next open-world game. So, pretty much speculation is that Horizon Zero Dawn could include multiplayer. So, what do you think?
Well, I don't care at all about Horizon Zero Dawn. I played through it, platinumed it, I gave it a chance. I didn't care for the story. I didn't care for the main character.
What about the combat though?
The combat,
that's what really I love the story.
The combat,
but
was
the combat
okay.
is honestly the best piece.
The combat was okay. I don't know. It felt very. The combat feels really good when you first encounter it, but as the game kind of progresses, you start to learn how to kind of trick the AI to some degree. And
okay.
The threat level diminishes quite a bit
once you get more into your arsenal.
I think the most memorable thing about that game was graphically it is very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have taken that open world and made a more interesting game around it. But really, top-notch graphics. I would put it probably in the top 5 graphically this generation easily. It just looks like a gorgeous game.
Oh yeah.
Even for running just on a console, it's extremely impressive. But otherwise, I can't really think of anything else I enjoyed about the game.
Mm-hmm.
The combat was, like I said, it was okay. Did I have at least a little bit of? I probably had a similar level of fun completing that I did to Jedi Fallen Order, where it just was, it was okay, and I basically forgot everything about the game after, a month after the game was finished. I had no desire to go back and do the DLC. It was just a very bland game all around.
Yeah.
Aside from the graphics like I said, being the only standout.
No, for me, the graphically, it's absolutely gorgeous. It uses the Decima engine, which is the same engine that's used in Death Stranding, because Kojima Productions wanted to use Guerrilla's engine for their game. But so graphically, gorgeous. I love the story. I love the combat. It's just fighting big, huge robotic animals is just so satisfying. Just shocking them and then shooting them down, pulling them down, and then you stab them and kill them. There's so many different ways that you can kill these big, huge monsters, and it's great, and I love it. I love the story personally. I love the story. It was great. I'm excited for Horizon Zero Dawn 2, but having a multiplayer aspect to Horizon Zero Dawn, or it could even be another Killzone, so either a reboot to the franchise or maybe a Shadowfall 2. I don't know, but I do think that's really...
I'm not really as much of a Killzone fan either. Shadowfall was a very forgettable PlayStation 4 launch title.
Yep.
Really...
No, I agree.
They're kind of... For me, they're just... They produce mediocrity, and I don't care for
with
it.
Killzone was supposed to be PlayStation's answer to Halo, and it sold, and it was fine, but it wasn't their Halo. And with PlayStation doing Horizon Zero Dawn, I know you don't like it, but a lot of fans love that game, and I would definitely think the smarter move is for Guerrilla to go into Horizon Zero Dawn 2. And then if they want to do the multiplayer aspect, that would be something they would do. It would be like Uncharted 2. Like Uncharted 1.
I think it would be silly for them to not make a sequel because, it was very successful. They've tried, half a dozen times now with Killzone to make, that into a successful IP.
Yep.
It sells, but it does not sell, like gangbusters. Crazy.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn did.
In Horizon Zero Dawn did pretty well for what it was. Yeah, it's for a new IP, to their credit, it was at least a new IP. I give them credit for that. It wasn't just another sequel upon a sequel. At least it was something new, even if I didn't think it was terribly original or fun. At least it was something original. Mm-hmm. Or new, I should say.
New, yeah. No, I get you. But the multiplayer aspect, I am very much looking forward and excited to see what that could be in the aspect of Horizon Zero Dawn.
I would hope that at least they would do something unique with it,
mm-hmm.
where it's not just some boring deathmatch. Maybe have some of the dinosaur mechs involved in the match, and kind of have maybe a sort of like a three-way battle. You have two sides fighting each other, and then you have the dinosaurs in the middle running around or something like that.
Yep.
That interacts with the point system somehow.
Yep.
Make it something unique. Don't make it just be okay, team deathmatch that we've seen 1,000
No,
times.
and I don't think they would. I think it would be with this style of game. I think it would be more based around a time challenge, who can take down the Stormbird faster or first.
Something like that.
Something like that. And I'm only speculating. That's what I could think. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic. There is a rumor going around that there may be a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake in development over at EA. The latest rumor indicates that a new Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic project is underway at EA, and it looks to, quote, invigorate elements from the first two games in order to bring certain things into the current Star Wars canon. Reported by Cinelinx, Two sources claim to have knowledge on the rumored return of this beloved franchise. The first source says that it makes that it's going to be a remake of the 2003 classic is in development, while the second expands and says that it quote wasn't so much a remake but a quote a sequel of sorts. So this is kind of all rumor. There is no verification from EA saying that they will. The new project, as previously mentioned, would take elements from the first Coder game and Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, and reboot the two stories and fit them into one and fit into the current canon. These rumors do fall in line with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy's previous comments confirming that Lucasfilm is developing something Knights of the Old Republic related, and there has been rumors of a Knights of the Old Republic film, with some sources linking Game of Thrones, D.B. Weiss, and David Benioff, who are no longer doing the trilogy. So those were going to be the showrunners. They were the showrunners of Game of Thrones. They were going to be writing the Coder trilogy, and now they've walked away. So, yeah. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, whether it's a remake or a re-release, or even a sequel of some kind, I mean, that would be very interesting. I just actually picked up, it's funny, I picked up Coder 1 and 2 for $7 on the Steam sale.
It's so good.
Fantastic games, and still great even after all these years.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy either way. Happy if it was just a straight up remake with more modernized graphics and maybe some quality of life tweaks to them. Or if it was a sequel of some kind, that would be pretty awesome too. I know a lot of people are disappointed when the last Knights of the Old Republic game we got was an MMO.
The Old Republic, yeah. Even for me, like Coder is my favorite video game franchise. Period. And I was like, really, an MMO?
I hope that for the Old Republic, I hope this is kind of used as for both the games and for if they decide to do more movies, which inevitably they will. I hope they kind of use this as sort of a reset button and a chance to do something new.
I agree.
Because we're no longer shackled to this.
Has to fit into the Skywalker canon.
Yeah, and especially with how horrible and polarizing the new movies have been. I mean, it's nice to kind of just to have something sort of like kind of The Mandalorian, which is kind of sort of does away with that and kind of does its own thing.
Yep.
Or even like Fallen Order, to its credit, mostly kind of does its own thing. It's not like every 5 minutes, hey, there's Han Solo, or hey, there's the Millennium Falcon, or hey, Luke is up to this right now.
Like I think
I kind of like stepping back away from that Skywalker saga.
Yeah, well, honestly, there were only 2 references really, and it was Saw Gerrera from Rogue One. Because he shows up in Kashyyyk, and you see it in the trailers, and then the final level.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the time period it takes place, but it's for the most part it didn't feel the final level where you see Darth Vader. I mean, but he's only in the game for a couple of minutes, so I mean, it's not really a huge leaning on the original trilogy or anything like that. So I hope this is good news. Obviously,
yeah.
I mean, no matter what it is, either if it's just a remake or another game, I'd love to see more of the Old Republic, both in video game form, and even if they did a film, I'd be curious to actually see it.
Now, the only question is who could be if this is true, if this is actually happening at EA, who could be developing this? Because yes, BioWare did Coder 1 and 2, but they're just a shell of their former selves. Yeah, they're just a husk.
That's the scary part of this, is because who do they have that's talented left anymore?
I don't know, because
they've closed every studio that's produced.
Yeah, they closed Visceral, and that was the game that Amy Hennig was working on, and because they closed up the studio, Amy Hennig just went, well, I guess I have no gig now, and she's just off doing. She has her own studio doing a bunch of indie stuff, which is good for her. But okay, let's kind of go through the rundown. You have BioWare, which right now, Mass Effect Andromeda was a mess and a failure. Anthem, even worse than that. And now they're working on the next Dragon Age game. I would be very surprised if they just yep, we have the B team or a different team split into thirds or whatever working on this.
It's like, who would you really put on?
Because, like, they have to continue working on Anthem. They don't have a choice to just, like, oh, drop it, even though no one's playing it. They have to keep working on it.
Yeah.
So that way EA doesn't have, like, sunken costs or whatever. So you have that. I can't see DICE doing that because they're shooters. This is an RPG game. I can't.
Plus, they're still licking their wounds from
Battlefront. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then you have that. You have that DICE. I can't see it from the developers for Need for Speed. It's not Motive, it's someone else, but I do not follow. But Motive is the other one that is not working on a project that could be doing it because that's a new studio. You also have Respawn, who just finished up Jedi Fallen Order, and most likely would be working on the sequel to that because of how well received, critically and commercially, that game has been.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a sequel of some kind.
Yeah, so like... Who's doing this game? That's where I'm like, I don't know. And like, if I see BioWare going like their logo on Coder 3, I'm not gonna be excited. I'm honestly gonna gnawing at my fingers.
Honestly, I don't. The more I think about it, I'd almost feel better with just like a re-release or a remake because then it's like we know it's a quality game.
You mean a remaster? A remake is when you
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, remaster, remake, re-release, whatever. Just something. Even a remake. I mean, it still kind of does the same beats as the first original game.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Even if you tweaked a few things, like it still has the same beats. Like
Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3.
I mean, it has the same general kind of stuff.
You're still going through the story.
It's the same general story, same general concept, more or less.
New engine.
It's just a different engine, and But yeah, even that would be fine because the bones of a good game would still be there.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to do something completely new.
Yeah, and like that's the game that made me fall in love with Star Wars, with RPG like games. That's the game that made me fall in love with stories in video games. Like, I love it. I love Coder. It's the greatest game ever made, in my opinion. There have been some very good games, but still probably one of the greatest ones ever. All right, let's move on. Next topic is that Overwatch, Call of Duty, and all other Activision esports will broadcast exclusively to YouTube. Activision has announced that an esports streaming exclusivity deal with YouTube, making it the official partner for live broadcasts of all Activision esport leagues and events. The new multi-year deal will bring esport broadcasts of games like Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Hearthstone only exclusively to YouTube. The new deal will be kicked off at the start of the Call of Duty League season, which begins right now, which is happening right now or as we speak. Excuse me. This is an exciting year for, this is from their CEO. Quote, this is an exciting year for Activision Blizzard's esports as we head into the inaugural season of Call of Duty League and our first ever season of homestands for Overwatch League all around the world. And this is a quote from Pete Vasilica, who's the CEO of the Activision esports. The new partnership with YouTube will give it exclusive streaming rights to some of the biggest esport franchises, so on and so forth. So pretty much it's continuing saying that that now, if you want to watch the esport competitions of Call of Duty, Hearthstone, which I know that's a game you like, and Overwatch, that will not be on Twitch, that will not be anywhere, it's only on YouTube.
They say it's literally all everything Activision?
Everything Activision.
Okay. Well, I mean, I personally can't stand YouTube after how YouTube. It's fascinating, really, how YouTube has morphed in the last 5 to 10 years. It's become a. I mean, it's a. Let's face facts. I mean, it's a branch of Google, and Google is a very political company. I mean, so they have that baggage behind them, similar to my problems with EA. So you have that going for it. But also at the same time, I think the direction that you're seeing YouTube being pushed, and YouTube basically is becoming kind of like TV 2.0.
Yeah,
it's becoming sanitized and all the fun and creativity, the things that people really liked about YouTube, original content creators saying whatever they wanted, making whatever content they wanted, experimental, new, interesting, fun. That's all going away, and it's basically becoming this boring mess of influencers and all the exciting fun stuff and sometimes dangerous and controversial stuff has been kind of sanitized at this point.
It's hard with how YouTube is, and I don't want to go ahead and go into this.
I want
to focus more on Activision in this exclusivity deal, but we can't talk about that without talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
It's hard even for us. We can't appeal. We don't want to appeal. We don't want to be a kid show because if we go too far that way, then COPA gets involved and fines and a bunch of other problems. But if we go and you get demonetized and you can't comment and a lot of other stuff that's very important to being on YouTube and how you make a living and all that stuff. So that's for that side, but you also can't go too far the other side, so you can't be too edgy or too extreme or whatever, because then the advertisers do not like that, because then you're not advertiser friendly. So now it is, as you said, YouTube no longer is for the everyday man who wants to make something on YouTube. It very much is trying to appeal to the late at night hosts, the Vivos, and TV channels that are on YouTube.
It's basically becoming like a boring, normie kind of venue, much like how TV was, and that's, I mean, the original appeal and the fun of YouTube was just being able to, you could pick any subject and, there would be a guy out there talking about it.
Well, mind you, there's so much more content on YouTube than there ever has been ever. There's thousands upon thousands of people uploading every second of it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's more.
But yes, again, even for us, there's something even for us, there are things where I'm like, okay, so it's hard. Now let's get back on topic to this. Anything Activision, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Hearthstone are only going to be on YouTube. What do you think of that? And I know we talk about YouTube, but I want to focus in on this. Does that make any sense?
What do I think of that personally, or in terms of a move from the company, or both?
Let's start with, I want both. Let's start personally.
Personally, I couldn't care less. I don't really care about esports.
What about Hearthstone?
I don't think most people care about esports.
Well, what about Hearthstone? Because I know you would watch it on Twitch.
To some extent, I mean, I'm more interested in things more obscure stuff. I'm more interested in the esports scene, Age of Empires and stuff like that. That's fun to watch. Okay. Hearthstone is it's sort of interesting to watch. I'd rather watch something like Age of Empires personally.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But in terms of a move for them, I mean, it really kind of depends, I guess, on the fate of YouTube ultimately. Mm-hmm. We'll see if they survive this transition into becoming basically like a TV 2.0 type of thing. I understand why YouTube's doing it, because I mean they're trying to find a way to make money off of this. They bought this thing, Google, I should say. They bought this thing and they want to make money off of it. But I guess the success of this will be determined in respect to if YouTube remains popular, if it ultimately, if competitors don't arise to kind of supplant it. Because I mean, for me personally, I more and more for the content I watch, I have to go away from YouTube because a lot of interesting content is in effect banned from YouTube now. You can't really talk about a lot of subjects anymore. And it's really a slippery slope, because you start with the most extreme people, quote unquote, and then we got rid of all them, and then now we got rid of the less extreme people, and now we're going after the people that really don't even say anything wrong. They just kind of maybe have some edgy humor. Then once we get rid of all of them, then we'll go after I mean they go after everybody at this point.
It's just I don't want to spend too much time on this. Final thoughts. I'm sorry. Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, like I said, we'll see what the fate of YouTube is, because that's going to determine the success or failure of this.
For me, it's very much that YouTube technically is the new TV. I honestly, I do have cable, and that's only so that way I can watch All Elite Wrestling on TNT. That's honestly it, and I have a few other channels because it came in a package. Woo. But honestly, I spend far more time on YouTube watching other people and pundits in the video game industry and wrestling. But like, YouTube is the new TV. I cannot deny that.
And TV sucks, and that's why that's why we went away from TV. That's why we cut the cords. Like, I know you have cable. You just said that, but I don't have cable. I haven't had cable in a decade now.
If I could watch All Elite Wrestling literally anywhere else, like if they had a streaming service, I wouldn't have it. That's literally the only reason I have cable.
Yeah, so for specialized reasons. But TV sucked. That's why we all ran away from it. Nobody likes TV.
And I want to see creative people do that. It just seems like now is that they're catering more towards the pretty much the multi-billion-dollar companies that have it, and it sucks. And I want to see more people like us and other people, but it's harder to make a living on YouTube now because of that. Now we have like going to Patreon and stuff like that.
And I think that's part of, if we have any appeal, that's what it is that we're just, because we're kind of like sort of like what you would see normally on YouTube when YouTube first started. You just some regular people sitting in their in their room talking about whatever they feel like talking about.
Yeah.
And we're not sitting here shilling a product saying, oh, you guys should buy this or this, or go buy the latest mobile game that's gonna destroy your wallet or whatever because we're getting paid for it. We're not selling a product. We're not sponsored by anybody.
And even if we were, we would only want products that we like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if we were, it would actually be something we could actually get behind.
And mind you, we talk about PlayStation. This is a PlayStation podcast, and we talk about it because we enjoy PlayStation. And even though you and I differ on things, we like PlayStation, and we criticize PlayStation for good and bad.
Yeah, but it's like there's I guess there's that's endearing, that honesty, that just regular average Joe people making stuff, that amateur quality to it. There's something endearing there that is lost when you have just all produced content and you have just 30 million people on YouTube just shilling Raid Shadow Legends or whatever their latest thing is. That's just if I wanted to watch TV, I would just go back to the cable company and say, here's my wallet, bend me over. I didn't watch YouTube for that.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next topic, because I know we could probably forever talk about this. On to the next topic. There have been reports. This has been being reported that the God of War director explains why games are often ugly until the end of development. So first, let's start off with the tweet. This comes from Corey Barlog. He tweets, and this is about the delay of Cyberpunk 2077, where there's been a report where the reason why Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed is because it wasn't able to port to the Xbox One, like the current gen consoles. That's why I got pushed back. But he tweeted out that, I can't say I speak for the industry, so fellow devs, chime in to disagree or correct if you feel your experience is different. But I feel this to be true for most games. In all caps, games are very ugly for a long time until they are not. Traditionally, that is right near the end. And it continues, this is due to the absolutely effing bananas level of complexity and moving pieces required to make really any game today. We are more often than not, going on passion and belief of the vision of this buggy and duct tape together thing is going to come together in the end. To me, there is nothing shameful or nefarious about the game not running well in development. We all obviously want the release of smoothest, most bug-free experience humanly possible. Sometimes we mostly succeed, sometimes we don't, but it is never because we did not try. And he ends it with a heart emoji, and then there's a bunch of comments and everything like that. And it just continues on, because the rumor is that Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed because it runs badly on PS4 and Xbox One, and this is from the report. That report comes from Push Square, and he's just saying, like, no, every game looks like crap when it's in development until, like, literally right before it goes gold to sell. That's when you get the finalization of, like, what you see here, and you get to play in your system.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's speculating. I mean, he's giving his educated opinion on it, but the fact is, we really don't know why.
And he's only saying it about this rumor that's saying that the reason why Cyberpunk got delayed is because it runs badly on the PS4 and Xbox One, which it might be the case, it might not be. Who knows?
Yeah, it is, and I think that's sort of something that is kind of holding back a lot of games now, is that they do technically have to run on these very outdated systems. I mean, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are 6 or 7 year old.
About 7 years old.
Yeah. So and I mean, obviously we have the Pro and the Xbox One X, but
they just make your stuff look shinier.
Yeah, it's not. You have to still make a product that can work on these older legacy systems.
And mind you, that's not a bad these.
That's not a bad thing.
Like the games look gorgeous. Especially from first party when they're using they know the system. We talk Horizon Zero Dawn looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like to, I guess, indulge in the rumors too much. I don't really know why it was pushed back. I think maybe it could be due to a lot of different reasons. Could have been maybe due to feedback, things like that. But I think, I mean, I don't know. I guess what he's saying could be correct. That maybe it's right up until the very end, it can be just it's. I could see what he means by that. So.
Yeah. Before where he started, he did have a few tweets before that. He did say every game runs badly until you optimize for the hardware in the final push before you go gold. And then so he feels like I need to expand upon this because many may not have the most accurate picture of the game making process. In truth, we often probably do not want to share this because for some reason we believe people will jump to apocalyptic conclusions and get angry. And then that's where what I just stated from him goes on. So, and I don't blame him for, companies just going, oh, we're delaying it, not seeing the reasoning, because if they were like, oh, it does suck on PS4 and Xbox One, everyone would go, well, you should know this, you should be making it. I don't blame him for not saying that, and honestly, I'm all about delaying games, as long as it makes a good product. All that as long as you do nail
as long
that.
as it's not delayed so long where it becomes problems arise.
Yes, but in Cory Barlog made one of the best games, honestly, in my opinion, on the PS4, God of War 2018. So Cory knows what he's doing. Cory knows what he's talking about.
God of War 4. I mean,
he's been in the God of War franchise. He rebooted Tomb Raider. He's a smart man.
Yeah, he definitely knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. So I look, the game gets delayed. Honestly, don't be let it be yeah, it sucks. Well, I'm sad about it. I don't know about you. You're kind of about it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of whatever. I mean, it's not that long of a delay, really.
No, it's not next year.
It's not like they said, oh, it's coming in 2020.
2021 or 20. Yeah, it's until May. Woo, that's fine. That's so okay.
September.
Oh, September. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. But it got pushed back, and that's fine. I can play other games. It's not going to be the end of the world. There's going to be other stuff to do. There's other games that are coming out. It's fine. And just, I honestly don't believe this rumor that it's not playable on the PS4 and Xbox One. I'm the game's not done yet.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's one of those games that's kind of butting up against the next generation. So maybe it's a case where it's really eking out a lot from the systems, and I mean the PlayStation 4, especially the original Xbox One, famously had some problems running stuff even back when it launched.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Yep. So yeah, let's move on. Final topic. The Uncharted movie has been delayed to March of 2021 with that release date. Another pushback, another delay of this infamous Uncharted movie. So Sony Pictures still thinks that the Uncharted movie is coming out at some point during our current space-time continuum, even if it has another director. And it has gone through 7 different directors, and this is a 13-year-old project that Sony has been doing. So right now it was said that it was going to be coming out December 18th of 2020. Now it's been pushed back to March 5th of 2021. It is reported by a Deadline, so on and so forth. And it kind of gives a history of that kind of thing. But really, the big thing is that this infamous Uncharted movie that Tom Holland, who is going to be playing a younger Nathan Drake, has been pushed back to now March of 2021. It has gone through 7 different directors who have like left the project. Like, this is a video game movie that I'm like, when it comes out, I'm gonna watch it, but I have no faith in this thing at all.
Well, I mean, video game movies are, of course, infamously a genre that's just been universally bad. I mean, we really can't point to even like a single video game movie that's. I mean, the best you can point to is like when they're watchable or mildly entertaining. Like, I mean,
The one that I would say, the most recent one that I enjoyed was Rampage. The one with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and the big, huge gorilla.
All you had to say was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No, it's low quality.
Shut up.
Anytime you have a wrestler starring in something,
mind you, he's been acting forever. He's an action star. Shut up.
But yeah, so I'm sure that movie is hot garbage. But
whatever.
But like I can think back to the '90s Mortal Kombat movie, which was still a dumb movie, but at least it was entertaining and it did its job.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for a video game movie, I mean, it did its job. I mean, but yeah, this is a genre that's universally terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when this movie comes out, it's probably going to be awful too. It's just video games just don't really translate too well.
It's hard.
It's really hard. I mean, I can think of cases where it's the other way around, like where you have books that kind of translate to games, or games that or movies that kind of translates to games. Like probably one of my favorites from the last generation was Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah,
which was technically kind of you could say it's borrowing a lot from Apocalypse Now, which itself was based on Heart of Darkness. So it's an adaptation of so it's borrowing from those things.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I love Spec Ops: The Line, but I didn't know that that was kind of its inspiration.
Oh, heavily, yeah. I mean the guy you're going after is named Conrad, who wrote Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad.
Huh. But did the developer for it come out?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
It's very much the same story.
Okay.
Heart of Darkness.
God, Spec Ops is so good.
Yeah, it's I definitely recommend watch Apocalypse Now. I know you don't read, but read Heart of Darkness. It's very.
I do read. I do read.
Read Heart of Darkness. It's a classic.
Yeah.
But yeah. But my point is that you have examples of movies or books becoming games, and it actually kind of works. We have yet to have a good example of a game going in the other direction, where maybe there's some examples of some decent books, but I can't think of one movie that was really like, wow, that was good.
No,
I can think of some that are guilty pleasures, like I said, Mortal Kombat. Even the Warcraft movie, I'll say, is a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I mean, was it good? Not really.
It's a very much a meh movie.
It's a very meh movie.
Very much meh. But I liked it.
But yeah, but my point is, like, you can't point to like one video game movie like, oh my god, that's Oscar worthy. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, like as I said, Rampage is a good movie, but it's just Transformers. Do you want to see a big huge gorilla fight a big huge alligator and a flying wolf? That's all it is. They destroy buildings and stuff. It's just a it's just a big dumb action flick. That's what you're there for.
Discount Godzilla movie.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. And even for me, like shut up. I saw even for me, I saw Assassin's Creed because I'm like, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed. But even for me, I'm like, I enjoyed it because I like Assassin's Creed, but that's because I'm a fan.
You really had to try hard to enjoy it.
It was very much a meh movie. Like, I don't get to really know anything about Aguilar because all the action sequences are in the past and all the exposition is in the present.
And it kind of proves my point. Like, I mean, even you kind of like almost everything. You can't point to one like video game movie that you'd say was like spectacular 10 out of 10. It's all
off the top of my head, no.
It's all,
but I am looking forward to Sonic the Hedgehog now with that new redesign. Oh man, I am literally here to just see Jim Carrey just eat the entire scenery. I cannot wait. Like and with the new redesign of Sonic, yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are very much like, but like,
yeah, it looks absolutely horrible.
What? I mean, whatever. You can go ahead and be mad at it, but like for me, I'm like, again, I love Jim Carrey and I love everything he does. So like, I'm just here to see Jim Carrey just like literally eat up the scenery, and I'm so ready. I can't wait. So yeah, so that is all for our topic. Should we go ahead and get into our main topic, our PlayStation conversation?
Sounds good to me.
Let's begin. So this is our PlayStation conversation.
PlayStation.
So, We talked about last time about how Horizon Zero Dawn it may be going to PC. You're trying to repeat. Yeah. And I wanted to talk about that more in depth because this could be the future that we may be going in, where
it's the shape of things to come.
Shut up. Where Death Stranding is going to PC because it's not. Kojima Productions is not owned by PlayStation. They had a contract where they get an exclusive game, but it is still very much a third-party studio. Like, they're not owned by PlayStation.
Yeah, so yes, you have that going. I mean, you've seen this for a lot of games now. Like, quote-unquote, former exclusive games are becoming basically console exclusives. Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human is going to PC also.
It's already on PC. Yeah.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's I mean, you see a lot of examples of this now, and it's kind of makes you wonder, like, what's going to be left? I mean, is it going to be like a Microsoft situation where literally every game is day and date on PC? You know, I mean, there's no like exclusive games left on the Xbox anymore at all.
Yeah, and
technically speaking,
and
it's like.
Horizon Zero Dawn it may be going to PC. And that is a 3-year-old game. Like, it came out back in 2017.
Well, it's already, the thing is, like, I mean, we have to kind of clarify, how does this actually play out? Like, I mean, like, Death Stranding, for example, will be on, I think it's coming on Steam. You know, and Detroit, I believe, is also on Steam already.
Yep.
But Horizon is not on Steam. It's through the PlayStation Now service.
Well, it's that you can play now on PC, and that's how you do it, if I believe I'm correct.
Correct, yeah, but like, are we going to get, like, a system where you can, like, just buy the game outright? Like, because that's what you can do with Microsoft games, for example. Like, I could go on Steam right now and buy Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Or Gears of War 5 or something like that.
Like,
I own that game. I don't need the Game Pass.
Hence why it's the Play Anywhere initiative that they announced 3 to 4 years ago. I can't remember. And you and I have discussed this where we were like, why? What are you doing?
I mean, it's a boon for PC players, obviously, but it's like, I mean, you're sort of eroding kind of your console's identity.
Yeah.
In a way, because you're basically, I mean, like I said, that's kind of been my argument I've been pushing, is like, we're coming to a point where it's like, why console? Like, why have one anymore?
Yeah.
And I think if this trend continues, like if we have, Horizon, it becomes purchasable on like Steam or something, or even if Sony makes their own storefront on PC or something like that, and they start doing this for all their exclusives, kind of in the same way Microsoft does, it kind of becomes like, well, what's the purpose of having a console then at that point? Like, why not just have a gaming PC? And have all the advantages and perks of a gaming PC.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I said, I kind of wanted to make this topic about almost how PC is just superior in a lot of ways to consoles. I even made like a little list, and it's like I couldn't really think of many cons to a PC anymore. And because one of my cons before was like, well, there's exclusive games you can only play on console, but that's kind of being eroded away now, and with the exception of Nintendo, obviously. But so like, what's the perk of having a console now? Like, let's say Sony does this, like they go full bore next generation, say we're gonna have all of our games available on Steam, or day and date on Steam.
Like the same day as God of War 2 comes out,
it's gonna
you can play it on PC.
Yeah. So like, what if that's the case then? Why should I have a PlayStation? I mean, like, I have a great gaming PC, I have a great setup. Why do I need a PlayStation for that anymore if I can just play it all on PC now?
And
better.
And for me, I'm like, consoles. Like, I don't want to play on a PC. Like, that's not something that I want to play on. And yeah, I have a gaming laptop, but that's not what I want to play on. There are a lot of fans that are upset about hearing this, that, PlayStation games may be going to PC. And I understand it because I'm very much a fan of exclusives, and there's this kind of sense of ownership where it's like, I have a PlayStation. The reason I bought it is to play Marvel Spider-Man and God of War and Ratchet and Clank and Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted and all Death Stranding, so on and so forth. Like all these games, like that's the reason why you buy the console. It's this kind of sense of ownership, this sense of pride in the brand that you pledge your loyalty.
I mean, that's the reason why you bought it.
Yeah, but most definitely.
And there's definitely a subset of the fans of the system that purchase it for that reason because they really enjoy the exclusive offerings that Sony offers.
But there is a but. I am also all about everyone should be able to play everything. Like, for instance, I do not mind that a third-party game, like anything from EA, Activision, whatever, is on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. It's because they're not owned by the studio. So I don't mind if they're on PC. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Is that it's Xbox has games and they put it on PC, and it took me a while to kind of understand it, but it's very much like, oh, okay, well, I can see why that makes sense because everyone kind of has a Windows OS, which is a Microsoft product. So no matter what, that's money going into Microsoft's pocket, regardless of if it's on the Xbox or through PC, whatever it would be. That's still going into Microsoft's pocket. But with PlayStation, that's not where they don't really have a PC OS or whatever. So where's the benefit for that? And if the company is owned by PlayStation or Xbox, in my opinion, it should only be on your console because that's what you make these games to sell your console. By putting it on PC and console.
Your argument's more so from the company's perspective, like this is part of the company's the brand's identity, and if you just diffuse this off into
putting it in the PC,
then it kind of the system sort of loses its identity.
Yeah. Like when I think PlayStation, I think Uncharted, God of War. Even going back further, let's go back into like PS3, PS2, like Shadow of Colossus, Sly Cooper. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, that kind of stuff. Like,
I guess, but can you think about it more from we're consumers. We're not affiliated with PlayStation in any official capacity.
No.
So I guess thinking about it from a consumer's perspective.
From a consumer's perspective, that's why I'm very much like, I get it, and as I said before, everyone should be able to play everything. Like, I don't like it when Epic Games Store showed up on PC and they were like, exclusive, and they started throwing their Fortnite money at literally everything, and they started ripping games away from Steam. So people who pre-ordered one of the worst ones was like Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus was about to come out within a month or two, and then the developer of Metro, because tons of money was thrown at them, Epic went, yeah, here's just a wad of cash, put it on our storefront and rip it away from Steam, and then they did. So, I don't like it where it's you're going to be on Steam or you're going to be multi-platform or whatever, but we're going to rip it away and put it only on this storefront. For instance, Double Fine just got bought from Xbox. Xbox now owns Double Fine. Double Fine is the company that does Brutal Legend and the Psychonauts series. And Psychonauts 2 is in development and is coming out. It's not finished yet. And Xbox just bought them, as in they are now owned by Xbox. Psychonauts 2 is going to come to the PS4, even though that company is owned by Xbox, because that's the last project they do. But the newest project that Double Fine does will be on only Xbox. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So but like you said, nothing's only on Xbox. Not anymore.
But it's not coming to PlayStation.
So
that's what I mean.
Exclusive.
Yeah,
but really, I think we're entering like an era where really the only company that does exclusives anymore is going to be Nintendo. Nintendo's the only. And that from a consumer perspective, that's a reason for me to buy their system is because, in order to play some of the games I want to play on their system, I have to own a Switch.
Yeah.
But now, if we enter an age where I can just play everything on my PC. It's like, why? And not only can I play on the PC is really in many ways the superior platform, really across the board. There's not really any cons to PC. The only con I can really come up with right now, and actually it's funny because a rumor says they might be kind of fixing this with some of the new consoles, is it's sort of a pain in the ass to like, because there's certain games on PC, there's a lot of games where I love just having a monitor right in front of me, kind of playing a classic keyboard and mouse PC style.
I can't.
But there's a lot of games also where like Fallen Order, for example, or like kind of traditional platforming kind of games or whatever, where it's more fun for me to play it like in front of a TV screen with a controller. And it's a little awkward to do that right now with a PC. I mean, you can still do that, especially, it's easier for you because you have a laptop. But you can just hook up an HDMI cable and boom, you're in.
Yeah, or you can get a tower and plug it into your TV.
Yeah, but like for me, I have a desktop.
No, I get you.
And it's the TV's way over in a different.
No, I get you. I get you.
It's a bit of a pain, but now
you have to create your setup in that way.
Yeah,
like, you have to choose to do
but
that.
But now, something that actually may make me buy an Xbox Series X is if the rumor is true and they actually do integrate the Steam library, so I can play games on like from my Steam library easily on my TV then off of that. So that might be something that gets beyond involved in that, but yeah. So otherwise, that's like the only con I can think of to PC. Other than the other major con to PC is. Initially, and then your mileage will vary a lot here. Initially, usually it's a little bit more expensive to purchase a PC than a system. Although that's not always true. If you know what you're doing.
So, for that, because I actually did used to have like a tower and like it was a gaming tower. And I got it for a good deal because it was all hand-me-down pieces from one of my friends who they were high quality. It wasn't like garbage, but they were like, we're getting the tippity-top best alpha stuff that's out right now, and here's the stuff that's like not even a year old. Here, we're gonna get rid of it. Do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. I don't know, but there are some cons coming from someone who isn't a PC guy. So I got a good deal, but a few things. One, if you want the best PC, you have to get the highest, most tippity top ones. Like pieces, the RAM and the hard drive and everything. And that does cost a lot of money if you want the tippity top one. Okay, it does cost a lot of money just to throw into the pieces. And because of cryptocurrency, the graphics cards have now become more expensive because people buy multiple graphics cards so that way they can just do cryptocurrency stuff. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't follow that. But I would think it would be. I'm not
familiar with that whole thing, but I know it's still something.
But that's the reason why graphics cards are so expensive is because of this new hype of cryptocurrency that's happening.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case.
To my knowledge. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not a PC guy. This is coming from someone who doesn't really play PC, who doesn't really follow PC. Like. That's what I found, and maybe it has changed. But regardless, it does cost a lot of money, even if it's just like, you're buying it from the pieces from Best Buy or Newegg or whatever. The pieces are still expensive, and if you don't know how to build it, you need to find someone who does.
I disagree. A couple of things inaccurate there. For one, you don't need to necessarily buy the most top-of-the-line PC.
You don't need to.
You don't need
if you want to. I'm not saying need to. I said if you want to.
If you want to, that's all optional. You could go out and buy a NVIDIA 2080 is like the top-of-the-line thing they have right now before the 3000 series.
Yeah, you could get the NVIDIA, what is it, 1880 or something?
No, 2080 is kind of the top line right now.
Yeah.
I have a 2070 for reference.
That was it, yeah.
So 2070 Super is what
I was thinking,
right now, which is really good. But 2080 is like the top of the line at the moment.
Yeah.
You don't really need that for any game. It's overkill.
Yeah.
That's the thing with PCs. You have a choice.
Yeah.
You can, and it's kind of modular. Sort of like what you have this generation with the PlayStation 4 and the Pro.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the cheaper minimum specs thing,
or you can get the Pro,
just like on PC.
And I get that. And look, I'm not saying that's the only case. I was about to actually go ahead and say that you could get a lower model. All I'm saying is, like, if you want the tip-top one. If you want the Pro, the PlayStation Pro version, which is the highest model you can get for PlayStation, you would have to spend more money. But if you don't, you can spend less money for it. But and you're not wrong. It is better specs than a normal PS4, and maybe even the Pro.
Yeah, but you can make something that's equivalent to a Pro for about the same cost as a Pro. I mean, it's not that hard to do, and the other advantages too. I mean, first of all, you don't have to build your own. There are pre-built.
Oh, I know there's pre-built. I was getting there again. I was getting there. I wanted to start with the negatives before I got to the good.
Unlike consoles, PCs are also very upgradable. You have
and that is very true. And again, that's something that I don't know. Like, meaning I knew, like, when I bought my gaming PC, I knew I could be like, oh, well, I could upgrade this later. I could go ahead and ask one of my buddies to upgrade this. For me, I don't have it anymore because I honestly just like using a laptop right here, something more portable, and something that's right here, and it's just, I can go. For me, a tower just didn't work because I did have it plugged into my TV. Like, that's how I had it. But I didn't want to go ahead and have my tower that I did for work mixed in with the stuff I do for play, which is my PS4, my Xbox One, and my Switch. Like, I kind of wanted them separated. That's a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
So, yes, and I could upgrade. I could ask you or someone else who knows what they're doing and upgrade it. You know, and if I just bought the pieces. There is a lot of... Oop, hello. Oh, I hit the stuff. I don't know. It's a turn this way.
But I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean, especially nowadays, I think, it's very plug and play. You know, I just got a new PC not long ago, and it was very much. I mean, it's not like it was even 10 years ago. I mean, it's very much just, it's very simple and straightforward to use. I mean, there's not much thought that goes into it.
And look, maybe it's because I'm a loyalist or an old man or whatever. I honestly just like having a console, something that's just like, it's there, it's made, it's done. I don't have to worry about upgrading it later because I am one of those guys that does want my games to look pretty. It's not the most important. It's like number 4 or 5 on my list of things before that. But like, it's still important. I have an OLED TV and a PS4 Pro to play on my OLED TV. Like, I do want good looking stuff, but like, I'm not going to try to do it every year, every other year, even every, like, again, I would probably only do it every 5 years, just like the PlayStation, you know? Like, it would be the same thing, and I just like the ability to just grab a controller and go, you know?
I mean, for me, I mean, as kind of, a born-again PC player in a way, coming back to that is kind of my main thing almost. Really, the only thing that keeps me on a PlayStation anymore, I mean, for my home setup, I have, a couple of Nintendo systems because that's the only way you can play, those. The only way I can play Switch games is on my Switch, really, reasonably. And I have a Nintendo 64, so I can play those games on my original hardware, not through an emulator. And then I have my PlayStation there for now because really for 2 reasons. One, it does still, at least for now, have exclusive games that I want to play that could be going away. And then the other reason is, I mean, I have, it's more so just from, I do like things like trophies, for example. So I have my progress kind of on there on that account.
Yeah.
Now, PC has an equivalent to that through things like Steam achievements and stuff like that, but it's sort of like starting over again in a way, which I already did once coming from Xbox. So, I mean, that's kind of a small, nitpicky kind of reason. But so I think for me, what would tip the scales for me at this point is if the exclusives go away, then it's going to become like, well, I might just hang up the PlayStation hat and be like, what's the purpose of this anymore? Because everything else about PC is just better. I mean, it's like I said, it's the games are cheaper. You have a much larger library to play with. There's a ton of exclusive games on PC that are only on PC. You never have to worry about backwards compatibility, really. Mod support for everything. Don't pay for online. There's no PS Plus or Xbox Live to buy. I mean, there's just the list goes on. There's a lot of benefits to PC. That really just outstrip what a console can do. A console is kind of a poor man's PC in a lot of ways. And before that was fine because you had, experiences you could only get on console. But now, if that evaporates, then what's the purpose anymore?
A few things is that there are games that are being developed that actually do work better on console than it does on PC, but that's on the developer, not on the system. That's because they're making it for the system. But the thing I wanted to get into more of is that I think that times are changing. Things are changing, and where convenience is king. We've kind of talked about this before, but honestly, in today's age, we want convenience. Even if, let's just even talk about PlayStation by itself. A lot of people, like digital sales, we talked about digital sales before. Digital sales are higher than physical sales. And again, I love physical games, that's why I buy them, but it is honestly easier where you can pre-order a digital copy of a game and it will get preloaded before the street date, and then when that street date launches, it's already uploaded and installed, and you can just play.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going in that route because it's slimmer. You don't need more. You lose space. You don't have to have a collection of stuff.
Yeah.
It's you just have it all in your system, and it's in your library, and it's just there digitally. Even for me, I listen to CDs. I don't have a bunch of CDs. It's all on my phone.
Our habits, it's kind of remarkable how much they've changed. I mean, I have some physical games around. They're more so ornamental. They're just there for oh, it was this. I have a whole bunch of I back in the day I was still a big PC game player, and I had a bunch of big box PC games used to have these absurdly large boxes.
Yeah.
For some reason, maybe
just a disc. The whole a box, a CD box.
Yeah, they were ridiculously big, but I love them, and I have them around just as kind of relics of a bygone era.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing how I buy so many games, pretty much all my games digitally at this point. That it's amazing how our habits have changed. But I was somebody that was very much back in the day of digital never, never digital. I never want to buy digital games, and now I've completely reversed on that. I 100%. That's basically all I buy, unless I'm buying stuff for my
collector's editions. And maybe the way things are going is that you're gonna buy. The only way you can get physical is if you get collector's editions or special editions. You spend more money to get these physical versions.
And I think what you see with companies like Limited Run, for example, is there's a market for these physical products still. It's kind of like how there's still a market for vinyl and stuff like that. Or even for Blu-ray, but it's a small niche section of the market, and that's just kind of what we transitioned to from the norm of where everyone as little as 5 to 10 years ago, not even, you had most people buying games physically.
Yeah.
And now we've completely reversed course on that.
Let's even go back a little bit even more recent, to 2013, where Xbox truly was ahead of its time. If we kind of take a look back in 2013, even for me, I was pissed. I was what are you doing? No, always online? No, we can't do that. What do you mean I have to go ahead and have this thing check in to see if I'm on the internet every 24 hours or whatever? That was stupid.
It was truly just ahead of its time. I think if you did the Xbox One now and maybe got rid of the Kinect thing, because the Kinect thing was
it's
still stupid.
And there's a lot more things, but the DRM policies that they had about where it had to connect to the internet every time, or it had to have an internet connection. Now it doesn't matter. Now we have things like Google Home and the Amazon Echo, all these things that need Wi-Fi to connect.
Literally, your refrigerator is connected to the internet.
Yeah.
It's what isn't connected to the internet?
Yeah, not permanently everything.
It's almost the internet's the most important thing about your home now, second to just the power being on.
Yeah, honestly, without even without all of those things, you still need internet in order to apply for jobs and do really anything. That's just how it is. Honestly, internet should be almost like a utility now, like water and electric.
Yeah, it's almost just as important. I would almost rather go without water for a couple of days now than internet. That's really what's come to. But like I said, my larger point is it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this generation with exclusives. Does Sony kind of pull what Microsoft did and basically become kind of agnostic with their games, where there's no exclusivity really anymore?
You said you had a list. You want to go ahead and talk about your list for a little bit?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Go through it.
I kind of went through some of it, but this was kind of the formal list I came up with.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was just kind of weighing. I was thinking about this more critically, like weighing the pros and cons of PC versus console. So a couple of bullet points I came up with. Like I said, huge library of games from all generations. You can get most of them at basically very little or almost no cost. A lot of freeware games out there now, which you just really don't see on console. There's still a bunch of games you can really only play on PC. I mean, you can't play World of Warcraft on a system. You can't play Warcraft 3 on a basics. There's a lot of older games. One
of the most anticipated games is Half-Life Alyx.
Half-Life Alyx. Or even Half-Life. Like you can't play original Half-Life or even Half-Life 2. Well, I guess you can play Half-Life 2 for backwards compatibility on Xbox, but even
it's also on PS3 and PlayStation now. So
yeah, so I mean, it's you can kind of in some ways.
But I get your point.
Yeah, there's a lot of games like that. Free online multiplayer. There's no added cost. There's no subscription service you have to subscribe to. Obviously, the best graphics and performance in basically all cases. You have a few outlier exceptions where there's some games that were poorly optimized. But usually that's where kind of the fan community comes in. They can kind of patch and mod games to make them playable. My favorite, like I said, basically my favorite game of all time has a very long history of modding and fan-made patches that have really done better. Silent Hill 2, I'm referring to. They've done a better job than what Konami has done. These are amateurs that came out and basically made an HD version of this game for free. And it's the work they've done is incredible. You don't see that on console. You can't do that on console, really. Widest range of controller options. I mean, you when you think about it for PC, I mean, you can use any controller pretty much ever released. If you have a USB version of it, you can use, of course, the classic keyboard and mouse, which I love. But you can also, right next to my PC setup, I have a regular. I use an Xbox controller. Just because I like the style of it. But I could use any controller. I could use a PlayStation 4 controller, whatever.
And I would use a controller instead.
And that's good for certain games. Mod support obviously is way better on PC.
True.
And of course, obviously, a PC you can use for a lot more things. You just mentioned this. You can use it for a lot more things than just games. You need it just to apply to a job and stuff like that. I mean, for a lot of basic stuff. Technically, you can do all these things on your phone now. But what's easier, going on your PC and typing up a resume and submitting that actually on a regular web browser, or trying to do that all on your phone? I'd rather just do it on a regular PC. Like I said, the only cons I came up with really are three major cons, and one of those may be going away, and that was the exclusives. That might be going away. The other two were, in a lot of cases, and your mileage will vary, is the initial upfront cost can be a little bit more. But your mileage will vary a lot there depending on what you want to build. And then the other thing, of course, there's no... we do have a party chat feature, basically, through things like, pick your poison. Discord, which I have my own problems with, but Discord works. I'm not a fan of it, but it works. Or there's other alternative services you could use, but Discord is basically party chat. But we don't have a unified achievement system on PC. Closest thing you have to that is Steam, which does the job of it, but it's kind of an afterthought on there. So I mean that's a small nitpicky thing. It's probably like not even 5% of the player base that cares about achievements, but we're part of them. But that's the only real cons I can think of for the PC. But otherwise, really basically across the board, it's just better.
No, I get you. No, I mean, look, that's okay. I prefer consoles, and honestly, for me, the reason why I love consoles is because of its identity, is because of the exclusives, and if those go away, like I am with the fans, but I'm also very much all about letting players play everything. I want people to play Horizon Zero Dawn. I want people to play God of War.
That's kind of the conflict I'm hearing from you. So it's you like, from a consumer perspective, you kind of like the idea of everybody playing things on any system they want, but at the same time, I think you have...
I'm a fanboy.
You have a fan attachment and emotional attachment to the brand. And if the brand loses its identity, then it's kind of like...
Then why should I buy a PlayStation? Like, I would only be buying a PlayStation because I just like playing... I just like booting it up, but again, I just don't like trying to do the mouse and keyboard. And yes, you could get a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller instead. To me, and maybe it's because of just how old I am or whatever. I don't know. I just feel that PCs are more of a hassle, and I've already engrossed myself into the PlayStation ecosystem. So I don't want to restart, if that makes sense.
I guess let's put it this way: what if they came out and they announced that it was going to be just like Microsoft, where all games, God of War, every exclusive, Last of Us, whatever, day and date will be released on Steam.
Yeah, I'd still get a PlayStation. I'd still buy a PlayStation, dude. Like, it's just in me. It's probably mostly because of my fandom, because I love PlayStation. Like, it's a thing again, and like I know you are very much a third person game. Like, that's kind of games that you like
third party and stuff.
Yeah. But you are a fan of PlayStation. You can't go ahead and that's why you're here.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. But I mean, it's. What if PlayStation is no longer PlayStation anymore?
And that's kind of what, for me as a fan, I would say I'm a fanboy. Like, that's one of the things where I'm like, no, come on. That's what makes you different from Xbox. That's what sets you apart from them. And
for me, it's kind of like it's mind-boggling in terms of I get why they do it. Like it's sort of like a short-term gain, long-term loss. Because short-term, yes, if they throw Horizon and all these games on PC, it's going to translate to more sales, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, but in the long term, what is it doing towards its loyal fans? Who are invested in the identity of PlayStation. What does it do to you? Because you're probably right. Like, let's say that they got rid of their exclusives, you would still buy the console.
Yeah,
but then maybe over the course of a generation, you might start thinking to yourself like, why you see some, or maybe you see somebody with some that's playing PC like myself, for example. You see the advantages to it, and you kind of maybe it starts turning some things in your head, and you're like, why? What?
Yeah, I mean,
because I think it weakens your loyalty in a way.
Is what I'm trying
to say.
It really does. Because
right now, it's like assuming it's the status quo, it's like there's no way you would go full on for PC because you'd be missing out on exclusives.
Yeah.
But if you got rid of that, then it becomes more vague about
and I mean
the bond is weakened.
Yeah, and for me, even for Xbox, when I see Gears 5 and the new Halo, I still would buy it for my Xbox One. I could play it on my PC if I wanted to. I can, but I don't want to. I have an Xbox One. I'd rather play it on that Xbox One that's connected to my TV. I could play it on my PC and connect this laptop into with the HDMI cord, but I'd rather play it on my. I think it's just. I think I've been indoctrinated so long. It's very much like I've been playing on console for years, decades.
I think that's kind of one of the main differences between us, and we kind of described this when we sort of talked about our journey for gaming, is you never had a PC phase in your life where...
I mean, I did, but it was when I was in high school. Warcraft 3, that was it.
But for me, it was literally that's all I played. It was Warcraft, Dark Age of Camelot, World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike.
Mm-hmm.
I literally would have there would be times where I had a PlayStation and a GameCube, etc. and stuff like that. There would be times where I'd go months without turning them on.
Yeah, not for me. I would be on my original Xbox or my PS1 or PS3 or.
But I'd be on my PC 12 hours.
Yep, not me. And maybe that's the biggest thing. And I think that there is a good and bad to being a fan/fanboy. When you're a fanboy, when you're really in deep with the fandom, regardless of what it is. I'm a huge fan of wrestling.
I'm Australian there for a second. I'm really in deep.
Maybe.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. I'm a mark. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and that's what I am. I'm a freaking mark because I love wrestling. I'm a mark for PlayStation technically because that's what a mark is that you're just a super fan of a thing. You're a mark for Fallout. But what I'm saying is that there's good and bad. I have had to take out those rose tinted glasses where I would just go oh, Xbox sucks because it's Xbox and. That kind of fanboy, that's bad because you're not taking a chance. You're not looking at what are the good things that they can do. And even for me, I can't go. Even now, I go PlayStation Now used to be bad. PlayStation has done these these things where I'm like, why would you do this? You know, like,
yeah.
I've had to go ahead and take away the fanboy glasses and go like, all right, let's really look at this critically, but I'm still a mark for PlayStation, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a happy medium to it, and overall, final thoughts is that like. I would say I agree. Is that like if PlayStation, I feel like is doing this to really compete against Xbox. It's always been PlayStation and Xbox really just going at it like this, while Nintendo is sitting in the corner over here, just going like, we're just gonna go ahead and make our Pokemon and Animal Crossing and Smash Brothers and Mario. You guys can have fun. We're gonna be over here. Like
it's working.
They've been doing it for years, for decades. Like that's their whole thing. While PlayStation and Microsoft are fighting for the same fan base. For me, it would suck a bit. I like having that. I can be like, Rise of Zero Dawn is only on PlayStation. I have PlayStation to play that. Uncharted, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, whatever. That's why I bought that system is for these games. And if they all go to PC, like if they go to PC, even a year or 6 months after, I'm okay with that. You know, like I would honestly be okay with that because then like the people who buy it on PlayStation want to play it on PlayStation. They've already bought it. You have to wait a while, but I understand that sucks for people who's like either you'll wait then or I won't buy it but I want to play it now. And you're forcing people to play it. So
for me, I mean that would still be enough to be like a big strike against. You know, like that would be enough to get me away still. Because,
I know.
Because even if it was 6 months to a year, I'd be like, well, thanks for beta testing.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm gonna get let's say I like Spider-Man. You know, I'm gonna get Spider-Man Ultimate Edition with all the DLC added and all the patches done. Mm-hmm. You guys beta tested for me, got all the bugs taken care of. You know, I don't mind waiting the extra 6 months.
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, it's a slippery slope, and I don't know, but mind you, it's been succeeding for Xbox. I don't know,
and I'm not trying to. I mean, it's not like a fanboyism thing for me where I'm trying to like convert everybody to PC.
Oh, I know.
It's more so. I guess I try to look at it. It's an ever evolving thing. What is the most optimal way to play games?
And I think that's what everyone looks at, and it's truly. It's all about convenience. That's what our day and age is now about. That's the biggest talk about the PS4 and Series X is backwards compatibility. Years ago, backwards compatibility was barely a thing. There has been a subsect of fans who would like that, but like it wasn't important. Only like I remember studies that only 10 to 15% of people care about backwards compatibility. Everyone else doesn't. But now with these systems, everyone's like, no, we want this PS5 to play PS4 and PS3 and PS2 and PS1. We want this Series X to play Series X, Xbox One, 360, and OG original Xbox. Like, all that kind of stuff. Like, backwards compatibility is... And it's a convenience thing. That's why that exists.
And it would be a nice... I mean, it's sort of, you know, mimicking a feature of PC. It would be nice to have that, you know, kind of universal backwards compatibility because, I mean, PC sort of already has that, but sometimes, you know, for some older games, you do have to jump through a couple of hoops.
Yeah.
You know, like for one game I had, you had to get, you know, you had to whip out the DOS box, and that can be a little bit cumbersome to use.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. I got things to work, but basically what it is a virtual MS-DOS operating system on a computer because certain games were only built around that.
Yeah.
So that's where I could see your argument of like, oh, this is cumbersome. You know, it's definitely not a case of put it in the disk and it plays. It's more so put it in the disk and do some research and type in a bunch of different code things, and then maybe the game runs.
Yeah.
You know, so so PC does have some of those scenarios. So it'd be nice to have consoles, you know, like PlayStation 5 have that kind of universal backwards compatibility. That would be part of its value proposition.
But that has been the biggest talk of the town for like the biggest, probably one of the very like probably top 5 at least features that the PS5 should have is that universal backwards compatibility.
I agree. I mean,
and I want that too, and we're going to see that very, very soon. I cannot wait for this.
Remember, our hill that we were going to die on was the name change, and they did that. So
what?
That was our biggest thing for the longest time. You know, it's something we talked about, the name change. Being able to change your PSN ID.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, yeah.
That's something we've been talking about for years and years and years together. And it's something it's probably our most requested feature, and they finally did it. So now Our next one is probably the backwards
Yeah.
compatibility.
Well, mind you, it'd be nice where I can just take my collection of PS3 games and go, boop, and put it into my PS5. Yeah. Like, that'd be rad. But anyway, so guys, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I know this has been, we talked a lot about different stuff. This was a fun episode.
We were all over the map at some point.
Yeah.
I think we kind of still were in the same ballpark.
Yeah. It's very much, I'm very much a console gamer and you're a PC guy. Right.
Very much so, but obviously I still have my. I guess I kind of see it as consoles can be to kind of wrap up my final thought is consoles can serve a purpose sort of as a companion device.
Yeah.
Like the Switch, I see it as a companion device. It's meant to. I wouldn't just play exclusively on the Switch. I think that'd be crazy unless you were like literally living in like Tokyo or something where
it's your favorite system.
Yeah, or you're traveling constantly. You need to have something that's even then I would just say get a laptop. But I think if consoles can work, if there is a future for consoles, it's as a companion device. It's as something that's easy to plug into my TV and can play my Steam library, or is a Nintendo system that only plays Nintendo games. Yeah. That's the future I see for consoles. As a main primary gaming device, they're kind of obsolete in my eyes.
And for me, I want it to still be the primary way to play games. Not saying PC is bad. I respect everyone who plays PC. It's just, for me, not my cup of tea. But guys, please let us know what you guys think in the comments. All that kind of good stuff. If you agreed with me, if you agreed with Spectre, or whatever. If you have your own opinion, we would love to hear from you. So please let us know in the comments below. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/brotherhoodofgeeks. Go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe. We would love to have you guys do that. And also press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, you know we put up a video. You can also follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/thebrotherhoodofgeeks. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd, B-O-G. That's the name of our PlayStation podcast, Dualshock'd, B-O-G. And then you can also watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/brotherhoodofgeeks. Great. Awesome. Do you have anything else, Spectre?
No, that's it.
I'm ready for this PS5, dude. I'm ready for it.
We need some information.
I'm so ready for it, and we're so close to February. We're so close. I really want this event to happen.
I hope. Well, hopefully this event actually does happen.
Like,
I'm
sick and tired of seeing from everywhere these
rumors
leaks of
But it's also an exciting time because we don't know.
I know, but I'm very much I'm ready for PlayStation to come out and go, this is the PS5, bam, and I'm ready for that to happen. So I'm just ready for it. So yeah. Anything from you, Spectre?
No, that's it.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
I'm Spectre.
And as always, live to play, play together. We'll see you guys next time.